Claytality. Hey guys, Eric here. Today we're going to be talking about a fighting game that is just full of so much love and also as much hate. I'd say it's more like 20% love and like 80% hate. I'm of course talking about ClayFighter 6 3 1/3 on the Nintendo 64, the third game of the series. Or fourth if you count the Tournament Edition. Released in 1997 by Interplay, ClayFighter 6 3 1/3 was structured just like its predecessors as a full-on parody in fighting game genre, with most, if not all, fighters being some sort of walking caricature or pun. This game tries to be a joke first while subverting expectations. Jokes and or funny is debatable and subject to opinion. Now here's some basic backstory. Here's the whole story of the game. You see, you have an island, right? And a big meteorite comes out and crashes. Whoosh! And in this meteorite was like this goo, this magical goo that this mad scientist discovered. He's like, oh, I want this now. And there's this doctor, Killen, I mean, that's a good doctor name. He goes and he uses goo to experiment and create these monstrosities and stuff. And during his time, a plane crashes on one side island, and a boat, cruise ship comes in and crashes on the other side. And that's where we get all our fighters from. We either get indigenous people on the island, we get cruise ship people, we get the plane, and we get Dr. Killen's creatures. So, yeah, coincidence. Yep, makes sense. I mean, what? Okay, so I thought this was funny as a kid. Even as an adult, I kind of got a good chuckle out of it. I mean, some things aren't as funny, but I mean, okay, take this one character. There's one fighter who's like a Bruce Lee type martial artist type parody, and his name is Kung Pao, and he's a Chinese food chef, and even his name is a pun on Chinese food. It's insane. He is literally a racist stereotype. I mean, next thing they're going to say something like, and I mean, the witch doctor wasn't even that bad. Haugen, his name, it's Haugen, it literally means voodoo priest. Like, really? No. His name was Happy Harry Hogan, okay? Happy Harry, or Triple H as I like to call him, Triple H. You have never called him that. Okay, fine, I get it. Some things haven't aged as well. Kind of like a 90s sitcom special on the Comedy Central, okay? That you watch and you go, oh, this is going to be funny. It's not. I get it. But I mean, some of the fighters still really hold up, though. Anyways. Okay, fine. You're right. Let's just move on. Let's continue into what the actual fighters and movesets are. Wiki, okay? I gave him off for this video. I gave him off. Plus, also the gag ran its course, so I figured he can rest his voice and. Okay, fair enough. So we're actually gonna go and review the characters strategically and techniques that they use. Hell no. But I mean, I'll read the names and I'll read the quick bio. Okay, if that helps. And with no wiki, this might be a problem. Nah, we got this. Now for the fighters, first we have Bad Mr. Frosty. He lives to see an eternal winter where the snow never melts and enjoys sharing his keen weather sense with all those around him. And he's like the Jack Frost of Killing. But anyways, though, Bad Mr. Frost is actually one of two characters been in almost like every single game, and they love using him. Like they have him on the cover art all the time. They have him on the menus. They have him as like their headliner, which is amazing because to me, it's pretty bland. But whatever. Blob. After surviving a plane crash that placed Blob on Claymoto Isles, he ventured forward into parts unknown of the mysterious island. What he doesn't know is that there's a deadly surprise waiting for him. Now, Blob is very interesting. He has a martial arts style called Goo-Jitsu, later renamed to Morphine or whatever. And it's interesting because his ability to shapeshift is actually a clay ability. Like, that's not something everyone can do, even though I thought they could, but it doesn't matter. And they've pretty much kept it consistent throughout the iteration. Him and Bad Frosty has been like in almost every game. So they changed his character though. He was in a plane crash and he got brain damage, and that was his reason for acting a little bit different, talking a little bit different in ClayFighter 6 3 1/3. Bonker. After seeking the help of a mental health professional, Bonker decides to take a vacation. Unfortunately, some trouble arises. I've actually always felt bad for him because, like, out of all the other fighters, he just wanted to relax and get a little bit of vacation. I mean, at least that's what the story kind of gathers from it. Some of the other side plot stuff says that he worked with the evil doctor, but, I mean, even then, his goal was to literally vacation at first. So, I mean, just, psh. And also, he has the best dog in the world called Fifi. It's a little balloon dog, and it's able to do tricks and do stunts and actually runs around, bites, and it's like a live dog, but it's made of balloons. That's his whoosh. Ichabod Clay. After being exiled from the C2 Judgment Clay, Ichabod Clay went to Komodo Isles. Despite his temporary happiness, trouble seemed to follow him everywhere. He learned that some of his friends and foes are on island, feeling bitter and betrayed. It feels like it's payback time. I wish I had better like pun names to kind of joke with when it comes to Iggy Bod Clay, but I'll be honest, his whole structure I love. I love the pumpkin head design. I love the whole Ghost Wisp. I love the jokes he does and the whole like kind of like Nightmare for Christmas vibe I get from him. So I think that's why I like him so much. But yeah.
T. Hoppy, a former cute little bunny, T. Hoppy was changed to what he is today by Dr. Killen's experiments. After escaping, he wanders out and trying to figure out what actually happened to him.
Now, the only thing that bugs me about T. Hoppy is how gruff they made him, but also the fact that like he has like military fatigue on, he has dog tags, he has his own military base, he has all this like knowledge as if he's been in the war for a long time. But when you read the backstory, he literally was just created. Like he was created to be a mechanical like army guy, but that makes no, I don't know. It just always bugged me a lot as a kid, and even as an adult, when like you read more into it, you're like, wait a minute, that seems kind of off on those 2 points. But I mean, it's called theming. Stereotype 1.
Hyogen's a native of Komodo Isles. He got word of Killen's plans, and Hyogen has his own plans for world domination. He has to stop Killen immediately.
Stereotype 2.
Kung Pao. Not content with a black belt, Kung Pao must now go and achieve the almighty chef aprons and hats. Stupid. Taffy. Back in the circus day, Taffy was the best sideshow freak around. Nobody could resist his candy. And then Bonkers came along and stole the show. And the clown made Taffy so jealous, Taffy vowed that someday he'll get back revenge for Bonkers. Now that Bonkers on Komodo Isles, it's time for Taffy to get his revenge.
So I got 2 questions. How bad are you at being a sideshow freak? If you're made of candy, you're like a walking, talking Taffy. So how bad are you when you lose your job to a clown? Or how good of a damn clown is Bonkers really?
Earthworm Jim. Vacation on Komodo Isles after all his wacky adventures, Earthworm finds himself in a quandary once again. He just received word that Boogerman is also taking vacation. He has to go make sure that Booger-eating freak doesn't show him up. He feels that it would ruin his superhero image after all, because everyone knows a true hero is a worm.
Even as a kid, I totally knew he was just thrown in there for the fans. I really did. And I mean, it worked. I saw the sticker on the box and I was like, ooh, Earthworm Jim. And like, I loved him as a kid. Like, he was pure like 90s. Like him, Sonic, all of them just like grasped onto me for some reason, especially being on Genesis. And now it's like, oh wait, Nintendo console, what's going on here, guys? And yeah, I know he was on the Super NES, and yeah, I know he was on PC. I'm just saying that as a kid growing up, I only thought he was on the Genesis. And it's kind of funny, like when I was growing up, I saw it, like, so yeah. They also have 3 additional hidden characters that can be unlocked through entering secret codes on the main character select screen. You can do this at any time, and the codes are pretty easy to input.
Sumo Santa. For many years, Sumo has been living in secrecy over in Komodo Isles, waiting for a second chance to take over the North Pole. This chance may have just presented itself when Frosty appears on the island. If he can defeat bad Mr. Frosty in combat, North Pole is his once again.
You ever want to feel uncomfortable playing a video game? Play Santa. You will get more upkill shots you ever thought you'll see on a Nintendo console.
Dr. Killen. Having developed his lifelong dream of a clay mutagen, Dr. Killen proceeds with his plans. He's about to unleash his creations onto the world and everyone will be putty in his hands.
It's a big baddie himself, but don't think he can get away doing his auto combos.
Boogerman. Having recently defeated the vile Boogermeister, it's time for vacation. He decided to go to Isles of Claymodo. A wise choice. Shortly after arriving for his vacation paradise, Booger would soon get some bad news. His arch-rival Earthworm Jim was also on an island. Just a wet blanket he needed.
And just as surprising as Earthworm Jim being in this game, like, Boogerman shows up. And I mean, as a kid, I found he was unlocked when I unlocked him. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. But I was thinking, was he even popular? And the whole, like, premise is that him and Earthworm Jim are rivals, even though they never interacted outside this game ever. So I always thought that was just kind of like a weird thing they wanted to focus on. Now, each fighter has like a series of random fights you go through every time you select them. They do have their own personalized ending, but the fights to Dr. Killen is completely random from what I can tell. Now, all fighters end with a fight of Dr. Killen to stop his plan to take over the world or island or whatever. But it's pretty non sequitur. You know, like if you switch characters, whatever, you keep replaying the same character, whoever gets randomly picked is what you're going to end up fighting against. And it's not a bad thing. It's just I wish they put a little more polish to when it came to story mode on this game. And his infinite hit combo. Now, another cool thing about the level setups is that even though your characters are on a 2D plane, the levels are 3D, and they have like these little doorways and entryways and windows and latches or whatever, that if you happen to knock your opponent through, it'll actually transition into another part of the level, which I always love. Here's the thing, a lot of fighting games need to do this more. I mean, you had Dead or Alive that did it. A couple of the Mortal Kombat games on the 3D ones, they had you kind of shift perspective. Not always. But I just love the concept of the fight environment changing, because that makes sense. You guys are fighting, you're going to be moving around. Now, the game uses a layered health bar design, where you have 2 sets of bars you have to work through regardless of what round you're in. So if you're on player 1 and player 2 and you happen to knock through their whole first life, in order to beat you down, they have to knock down your whole first bar too, unlike other games where it resets both players back to a medium. Now, this is good and bad. The bad is that if the computer or you starts snowballing and the opponent can't come back from a comeback, they're dead. The good is, though, that if you come back with like a quarter of your last health and another person has like another 2 bars and you just rock it out, it feels phenomenal. Like just knocking out combos. So people are like, I'm good. I'm good. Now it's time to get into the good and bad about this game. With a rapid fire list. Now the good is that it has a lot of puns, a lot of funny jokes, a lot of stuff that I feel like they put the comedy first in this game. For better or worse, they did put it first. I feel like some gameplay hurts from this, but you can tell they had their heart in the right place to try and get this game to be as entertaining as possible. All the characters have voice lines, everyone is able to talk, everyone's able to go. I think the character designs are awesome. I think that them being actually molded out of clay and being taking pictures and turning into sprites is something that at that time was kind of coming out of faux. So kudos to them. Other than that, though, a lot of the other setup on it I thought was really well done. But you can tell, unfortunately, that some of the stuff was rushed, which leads you into the reason why things are going bad. So first off, the jokes, some made me laugh. I can see them getting really easily graded, which they have been when playing through this game. Second off, the frames of animation are super limited. They are so limited, in fact, when you do certain special abilities, certain moves, you physically see the gaps between each of the animation frames, which is kind of ridiculous because they could have just done some image shifting or even type of blending between each frame, but they didn't. Another thing is that the moves themselves are finicky to pull off. You can get some to work continuously. Other times you try to do a certain super, it does the complete opposite one. So you're like, wow, great, thanks. That's totally what I do, was that one hit where I could have done the 20% combo. But anyways. And then last but not least is the fact that they talk for every single move and action. Every single move and action they do, they talk. They just talk. And I don't know if you know what that feels like. It will make you go insane.
Back up, sugar rush.
And it can get a little annoying. Some quick final thoughts. I really do love this game. I think it's very funny. I think it's very unique. Is it a good fighting game? No. I mean, the critics completely panned it. The critics hated it. Some of them didn't get the fact that it was a joke, but others were completely right about the stilted animation, the repetitive sound effects, the noise, things just not being as polished as it could be. I was repeating word throughout multiple reviews that if this game had more polish, it would have been a better game. And I mean, if you get a chance to play it, it's fun with friends who are tolerable. Don't rope your friends into it if they're really like fighting aficionados, because they will hate how finicky some of the attacks are, how finicky some of the movesets are. But other than that, though, I mean, they should have just done like an update version or something to try and like quelch all the critics. I mean, they've done it before, but I mean, it's just kind of amazing they did it.
And now it's time for a wiki fun fact.
What, Wiki, you're back. No, you're supposed to have this video off. Go rest your voice.
Rest comes to all. Another wiki facts are still out there, need to be reposted, informed, and entertained, and so on and so on. So now it's time for a wiki fun fact. An updated version of the game, ClayFighter Sculptor Cut, was released as a rental-only game in 1998. In stores like Blockbuster, it was one of the rarest, most expensive N64 games, and along with Block Royale, and also a 2D fighting game released exclusively for the N64. Prices for this game trades on sites as high as $500 American dollars.
Who in the right mind would spend so much money on a game to finish on an N64 game, no less? I mean, that's not even... I mean... Oops. Sorry. Hey guys, thank you for watching to the end of the video. Really appreciate it a lot. You guys just taking your time and watching things I make. And I want to say thank you so much. It really means a lot. This is actually a second... I had to re-record both this and the next episode entirely, because the sound was completely, like I got a new mic off Amazon and that was the worst mistake ever. So, had to re-record everything, but still, thank you very much, 100%. You guys have a great day and hope to see you next time.